The rain fell relentlessly on the small town of Arua, turning dusty paths into muddy streams, as though the skies wept in memory of something too heavy to carry alone. And in a quiet, crumbling house on the edge of town, sat Mama Fa, once vibrant, now a shell of sorrow, wrapped in layers of silence and regret. She sat every day in the same wooden chair by the window, staring out at the world with eyes that held 1,000 stories, none of which she ever told anymore. Once, Mama Fa was just Fa, a village girl with dreams as tall as the Iroko trees. She danced in the rain, sang as she fetched water, and swore that one day, her voice would echo on radios far beyond Oyo State. She met Chike in the church choir. He had the gentlest voice and the kindest eyes. He was from the East, and though tongues wagged about their differences, love knew no boundaries. They got married under a mango tree with lanterns hung like stars, and that night, the heavens seemed to bless their union. They had one child, Ifealua. From the moment she was born, Ife glowed like the morning sun. Everything she touched turned brighter. She would sing her mother's songs with a voice even purer than Fa's own, and it was clear she had inherited her mother's dreams. At 5, she told her parents she wanted to become Nigeria's greatest singer, not for fame, but so people won't cry anymore. Chike built a small studio in their parlor from scraps and faith, recording his daughter as she sang lullabies and made up songs about rain, trees, and angels. When Ife turned 13, a video of her singing went viral after a local pastor uploaded it. Music labels started calling. Life seemed to finally be shifting. The family moved to Ibadan, then to Lagos. Fa watched her baby girl sing before thousands, and though they now lived in a fine apartment, she still cooked their meals with bare hands and prayed over her child every night. But Lagos was loud. It demanded a price. With success came contracts, agents, stylists, and shows that ended at midnight. Ife was barely 16 when she began pulling away, not out of rebellion, but exhaustion. "Mummy, it's not my dream anymore," she whispered once, tears flowing down her cheeks like a broken dam. "I want to sleep. I want to breathe." But the world wouldn't let her rest. Money was rolling in. Expectations piled up. Chike became the manager, always on calls, always on the road. Fa tried to shield her daughter from it all, but she was losing control over her family, over time, over life itself. It happened on a Friday. Ife had a concert in Abuja. Fa begged her not to go. "Your eyes are red, your voice is hoarse, you haven't eaten all day." But Ife smiled weakly. "It's okay, Mummy. After this one, I'll rest. I promise." They never saw her again. The plane went down minutes after takeoff. "Engine failure," they said. "No survivors." Fa didn't cry immediately. She didn't speak. She simply walked to Ife's room, lay on her daughter's bed, and waited for a dream, for a sign, for something to tell her this wasn't real. Days turned to weeks. The funeral was loud, extravagant, televised. But all Fa remembered was the weight of the coffin. How could so much light fit into such darkness? Chike changed. He blamed himself. He drowned in alcohol, in guilt, in silence. One evening, he walked into the bush behind their house and never returned. His body was found days later, hanging from a tree. That was 10 years ago. Fa returned to Arua alone, back to the old house, back to the chair by the window. She stopped singing. She stopped speaking. The once radiant woman now sat like a statue, watching the world as though waiting for someone to walk back through the door. Every Sunday, the neighborhood kids would gather outside her window, whispering stories about the woman whose daughter sang with angels and whose husband followed her there. And every time it rained, Fa would stretch out her hand, as though feeling for a familiar warmth. Once, she whispered, "Ife Chike, are you there?" One evening, after years of silence, neighbors saw a flicker of candlelight in Fa's parlor. They heard something strange, a faint humming. A song, her song. By morning, the candle had burned out, and Mama Fa was gone, her face soft, finally free of the weight she'd carried. In her hand was a letter, faded with time. To the world, she was a star. To me, she was the light. To you, reading this, hold your loved ones tight. Dreams are beautiful, but not more than a beating heart. And now, the chair by the window sits empty. But sometimes, when it rains in Arua, a few say they hear a soft voice humming through the wind, a lullaby for those who loved, and lost, and never stopped hoping.